This quarter has been awesome for us at the Oli Community Development Initiatives because of the immense support that we have received from Global Affairs Canada and Action Aid Nigeria. The women in our communities, and we are very, very grateful for all that we've been able to do, especially during this time when the whole world has been on a lockdown. So one of our activities was the online training that we conducted for young girls from ages 15 to women of age 35. This online training cut across different demographics. We have people that have gone to school, we have graduates, we have artisans, we have people that are hairdressers, tailors, people that stopped schooling in maybe JS3, people that, they just buy and sell. We had these different demographics to make sure that what we wanted to do was widespread. Even though the number of people, we could not do more than 30 young women. So the reason for the online training was because, number one, the COVID-19 lockdown was still on as at the time that we needed to do this training. And this training was very necessary because we observed that at around the time that the lockdown started till, up until now really, the cases of violence has been on the rise in Nigeria, in many of our communities. Even we, the only community development initiatives, received, a bit more reports than we had from before now. And we know that, we have to respond to these cases one way or another. The reason why we thought it was going to be very necessary to train young women is because the first responders, which would be the security agencies, the lawyers, people offering psychosocial support, the hospitals, they may not be readily available at this time. And we don't want women to have to suffer because of the lockdown that was already happening, to suffer much more than they already were. So we thought that young ladies and young women around them could actually, if they were more knowledgeable about different forms of violence, they can actually spot it and they can respond to it. They can be first line responders to such cases, to any such cases that is happening around them. So the point is for them to be able to spot, anyone that's been going through violence, even though, it's something that they might be afraid to talk about. But if they have spotted this, they might be able to offer support to whoever it is that is going through violence. And they could actually now refer to us and we would escalate it and know what to do further during the lockdown. So we were able to run this training for 3 months, from the month of April through to May, and then in June, it ended in June. And we took them through different topics. We took them through the meaning of violence, the different types of violence that exist, that women go through.
Now let's look at the forms of violence against women and girls. The first one I'll be talking about is the intimate partner violence. What is intimate partner violence? This is any behavior by a spouse or partner, or a former spouse or former partner, or a present spouse or present partner that causes physical, sexual, or psychological harm. This can be between a husband and wife, a boyfriend and a girlfriend, an aristo and a babe, a married man and a side chick, and a fiancé and a fiancé. What is sexual violence?
We also took them through, what it means to be able to offer psychosocial support to a survivor of violence.
When people develop psychosocial disorders or problems, they need help to rediscover themselves and get back to normal life. And this brings us to psychosocial interventions. What are the psychosocial support interventions? These are actions that community caregivers and volunteers can take to provide psychosocial support to survivors of domestic violence, meeting their psychological, social, physical, spiritual, and emotional needs.
The curriculum was designed for these young women to be able to, do their bit as laymen in all these fields, so they can offer psychosocial support to an extent before they are actually able to refer to us. They can actually respond by recognizing any form of violence and doing their bit to either call our attention or a security agency, or as in we gave them different guidelines as to what to do to still not put themselves even in a dangerous situation, or even the survivor as well in a more dangerous situation. So the training ran for 3 months, April, May, and June. So after which, part of the support that we got from Global Affairs Canada and ActionAid Nigeria, we're also able to provide palliative support for 50 women that have been survivors of violence in one way or another.
Èèyàn àádọ́ta ni wọ́n fún wa lówó ActionAid àti Canada. Èèyàn àádọ́ta wọ́n fún wa lówó tó ká ṣe tèmi fún. Ṣé ẹ rí pé mo ní kókò ń ṣe gbogbo èèyàn náà fún wa fún àwọn èèyàn tá a mọ̀ tá a ti ń bá ṣiṣẹ́. Èèyàn míì wà tó jẹ́ pé àwọn tá a ti ń bá ṣiṣẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀ ni wọ́n fún wa lórúkọ wọn tá a fi mọ̀ yín. So èèyàn 50 ṣọ́ wọ́n fún wa fún eléyìí. So àwọn máa follow up tó jẹ́ pé a máa ṣiṣẹ́ pẹ̀lú yín ní sísẹ̀ntẹ̀lé, àbí nǹkan tó bá tún kàn nǹkan tó bá tún kàn lágbára Ọlọ́run fún wa ṣe. A dúpẹ́ fún ìrànlọ́wọ́ tí wọ́n fi ran àwa obìnrin tí àwọn ọkọ wa ní oríṣiríṣi tí wọ́n fi ràn wá ní ọwọ́. Iléeṣẹ́ wọn yóò mọ̀ lọ síwájú lágbára Ọlọ́run. A sì dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn tí wọ́n rán sí wa náà láti pè wá torí pé wọ́n jíṣẹ́ fún wa. Iléeṣẹ́ tiwọn náà kò ní bàjẹ́ lágbára Ọlọ́run. Iléeṣẹ́ náà yóò mọ̀ tẹ̀síwájú ni o. Òkè ni wọ́n mọ̀ lọ lágbára Ọlọ́run. Ẹ ṣé gan o, ẹ ní ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe o. Ẹ̀yin ò ní bàjẹ́ lágbára Ọlọ́run.
Those that had gone through violence before the lockdown, and those that were still going through violence even during the COVID-19 lockdown. Among them were different ladies who some had to leave their husband's house even during the lockdown, because of different types of things that were happening to them. And we had people that had gone through rape as well, even during the lockdown as well. So we're able to support them during this time, and we believe that we'll be able to have ongoing support for them as well, to bring them back to themselves. So apart from the nutritional support and the palliative support, we're able to provide them with first aid kits for those that had gone through physical or sexual violence as well. The support kit contained Dettol, contained antiseptic soap, tissue, and just other things that they would need to be able to take care of themselves, just for that little while until they are able to recuperate and get back to themselves. One fantastic thing that we're able to do was get a hotline during this time to make sure that survivors of violence could actually call through to us at no cost at all. So we are so grateful for this particular one, because we know that sometimes women go through so much violence that they're left with no money to even make that call to get themselves out of that situation. So this hotline has helped women to be able to make phone calls to us at no cost to them. What we are able to bear the cost through the support that we've received from ActionAid Nigeria and Global Affairs Canada. One of the fantastic things we've been able to do during this quarter is to strengthen our linkages and referrals, our linkages and referral system. As in, this has helped us to really help some more women who ordinarily on our own would not have been able to do anything to help them. As an NGO, we realize that we cannot do everything on our own. We know that we have to partner with several other organizations that are, doing something similar to what we are doing, but in another capacity. So we've been able to access psychosocial support for survivors of violence. At this time, they've been able to talk to people. They've been able to, we've had people counsel them through some of the things that they're going through. We've had seasoned counselors through our partners talk through some things with them to lift them out of stages of depression. And we've actually been able to access shelter as well for a particular woman, not just her now, but there's a particular lady that has been sleeping in a shop, in a very small shop with her children for over a year after her husband left her and has left her with no support at all.
Àti last year February 28 ni mo ti sun shop. Ìgbà táwọn onílé ní ká kó wá sanwó ilé kò dẹ̀ sanwó ilé, wọ́n dẹ̀ ní ká kókó ní ilé. So bó ṣe lọ́ǹtì ẹ̀mí nígbà dẹ̀ mú fẹ̀rẹ̀ mi sínú ṣọ́ọ̀bù fún un ṣe lífì ní ṣọ́ọ̀bù mi. Àwọn pẹ́rẹ́ǹtì àti pẹ́rẹ́ǹtì mi tiẹ̀ lọ bá wọn àwọn pẹ́rẹ́ǹtì ẹ̀ pé ṣé bí ó ṣe fi nílẹ̀ ní pé tí ò ní fọ́mọ lóúnjẹ tí ò ní ṣe ìyẹn January this year wọ́n ṣáà lọ wọ́n ní kó wá lọ sanwó sùúrìsì ọmọ. Àwọn pẹ́rẹ́ǹtì ẹ̀ ti ń bú mi pé skul tó lóun fẹ́ fọmọ òun sí wọn ò mọ̀ pé mi ni mò ń sanwó tẹ́lẹ̀ náà. Ìgbà tí capacity mi gbé owó bẹ̀yẹn mọ́ mo change school fún àwọn ọmọ wípé mo fẹ́ best education fún àwọn ọmọ mi. Mo ṣáà ní àwọn pẹ́rẹ́ǹtì ẹ̀ wá bú mi pé mo ṣe lè kó ọmọ kúrò ní school tí ó lọ yẹn nígbà tí wọn ò mọ̀ pé mi.
So we've been able to do many of these things. We've been able to access healthcare for some of these survivors as well. There's a girl of about 15 years old, and she was pregnant, and her family were not able to accept the fact that she was pregnant. And unfortunately, they had been victimizing her. They burnt all her clothes. They've not been behaving in a good way to her at all, which has caused her to be really depressed. And we're able to step in and we're able to help them with part of the healthcare and support for the baby as well. And we know that this actually alleviated the girl's situation and it's put her in a better position with the family, because we found out that one of the reasons that they were not so happy is because they thought there's now something extra to do even with her, and that put them in a very difficult situation. So we've been able to access even psychosocial support for her and her family as well, because we understand that they have they have to go in stages back to where they are, and we've been having ongoing visits to her to know what more she might need. Finally, I would just really love to thank ActionAid Nigeria and Global Affairs Canada. At this point, I want to talk about the support that we've received on the project. I would love to thank the Women's Voice and Leadership Project Nigeria project team. They've been super helpful. Our project coordinator in the North, Neri, she's been a star. She's been available to help us at any time that we needed. She's put meetings together to help build our capacity in areas that she feels that we might need. And she's basically been around, anytime you need her, day and night, she's always there. Her support has been very immense, and I would really like to thank her and everyone on the team. Really, the finance department have been super helpful as well. They are not here to say what they've experienced, but from what they've shared with me, I know that the finance team has been awesome as well. So we'd really like to thank everyone on the Women's Voice and Leadership Nigeria project. They've been particularly awesome. So this, we hope for more, to be able to do more for many of these women, because, as we found out, there are root causes to different forms of violence that they've been going through. And we hope to be able to support them further through the help that will be supplied through ActionAid Nigeria and Global Affairs Canada. So thank you so much. We are grateful.